Happy Monday. It's Vicki, and I'm reading today out of The Language of Letting Go, Melody Beattie. This is not today's reading, this is July 14th's reading, and it's about being lovable. And here goes. We are lovable. Even if the most important person in your world rejects you, you are still real and you are still okay. From Codependent No More. Great book. Do you ever find yourself thinking, how could anyone possibly love me? For many of us, this is a deeply ingrained belief that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Thinking we are unlovable can sabotage our relationships with coworkers, friends, family members, and other loved ones. This belief can cause us to choose or stay in relationships that are less than we deserve because we don't believe we deserve better. We may become desperate and cling as if a particular person were our last chance at love. We may become defensive and push people away. We may withdraw or constantly overreact. While growing up, many of us did not receive the unconditional love we deserved. We may have concluded that the reason we weren't loved was because we were unlovable. Blaming ourselves is an understandable reaction, but an inappropriate one. If others couldn't love us or love us in ways that worked, that's not our fault. In recovery, we're learning to separate ourselves from the behavior of others. And we're learning to take responsibility for our healing regardless of the people around us. Just as we may have believed that we're unlovable, we can become skilled at practicing the belief that we are lovable. This new belief will improve the quality of our relationships. It will improve our most important relationship, our relationship with self. Today, God help me be aware of and release any self-defeating beliefs I have about being unlovable. Help me begin today to tell myself that I am unlovable. Help me practice this belief until it gets into my core and manifests itself in my relationships. So this has been the reason I picked this reading is because in meetings and on my call, I'm taking a class that I've been doing, this has been a theme. The self-worth that people don't have for themselves, which makes no sense when we think about it intellectually. So intellectually, we know we're lovable. And what I'm learning to identify with is that pretty much every human being in the world feels less than and feels unlovable and feels like unworthy. And worthiness, we were born worthy. We stay worthy. We're worthy of love. And I do recall early in life when I started reading all the self-help books that I was reading. They all said you have to love yourself before you can love anybody and blah, blah, blah. And I thought it was a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And through lots of failed situations in life, I've discovered that to be true. And now I am working on just that. And when we get into the program, one of the things that they tell you is, let us love you until you can love yourself. And in my program of recovery is where I discovered self-esteem, where I discovered self-worth. And then in all the workshops and all the books and all the amazing tools, podcasts, learning, friends, I have really discovered this concept of self-love. And it is not always there. There is so much doubt a lot of the time. It happens. But there's so much less doubt and so much more self-love than I think I've ever had. And that's because I practice these things. I read these things and I remind myself that I am lovable, that you're lovable, and that somebody's love doesn't define me. One person's love doesn't define me. And I always go back to the whole concept of the Four Agreements by Don Luis Miguel, just an amazing book. But it's all about nothing anybody does to us is because of us, right? It's all because of their story that's in their head. And unfortunately, a lot of sick people carry on the sick habits of their ancestors. And I think what I've learned and what I've been hearing, what a message that I've been hearing a lot lately, is that we can break that cycle. And I certainly know that I want to break the cycle of self-love in myself and not carry that to my kids. And I do everything I can to make them feel worthy, but what I also have discovered is they're going to need to find that within themselves. So with that, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope you know that you're worthy today, that you're worth love, that you are lovable, and it's so much more fun to love yourself. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.